Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi. Amma ba'da. I greet my listening audience with a greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And today we're going to take a look at chapter 2, verse 189. Chapter 2, verse 189. And we're just going to take a look at part of the verse and just make a couple of comments this morning. I'll try not to be too long, just make a couple of comments. And this is, I'm going to continue on the subject of making comments as a reminder about Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, the month of fasting for the Muslim. So let me read the English first, that you would have an idea of what we will be talking about. It reads, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. They ask you concerning the new moon. Say, there are times appointed for the benefit of men and for the pilgrimage. That's all we're going to look at today. We're going to make a comment on this part. So, in the Arabic text, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yas'alunaka an al-ahillati. And this is, he translated, they ask you. Yas'alunaka. Yas'alunaka. So he's saying here that yas'alunaka is yastakhbiruna minka, meaning that they seeking information from you concerning, he's saying concerning an ahillati. So he has translated ahillati as new moon. So here, ahillati, he says, is jam'u hilalin. It's the plural of hilal. Hilal. This is not halal, meaning permissible. This is hilal with the soft H sound. Hilal. Hilal. It's the plural of hilal. So this would be he said new moon, but it's not new moons. The word wouldn't be new moons with an S. I will explain that. Let's go through then. I will explain. وَهُوَ الْقَمَرُ, and it is the moon, إِلَى سَبْعِ لَيَالٍ, up to 7 nights. 7 nights. فِي أَوَّلِ الشَّهْرِ الْقَمَرِي, in the first of the lunar month. So, this idea now of ahilla, we have in English the word crescent. We have the word crescent. And we have the concept new moon in English. A new moon and crescent practically are two different things. The new moon, we call it the new moon when the moon has made its conjunction and it is black and we don't see anything. The old moon has a crescent that its horns, the crescent horns, for us it would be pointing to the right. And then the new moon, after the new moon, we have the crescent and the new crescent, and the new crescent, its horns are pointing to the left. So we have the old moon, then we have the new moon. The new moon is black, and it may be black for a day or so. And then we begin to see the light of the new crescent. So this word hilal, the word hilal or hilal is referring to the crescent. The crescent. And he's saying that the crescent, what we're calling the crescent, may be up to seven nights. 7 nights. Each day is showing the crescent. This is the idea that he's giving. But I'm giving this idea of new moon and crescent because in our discussion of being a witness, as the Qur'an is saying, to the month, and starting the month, it starts with the crescent. Now, for the ritual month of Ramadan, it will start with sighting the crescent. And sighting the crescent has become part of the ritual. Seeing the crescent. In the rest of the time of the year, you don't have to see the crescent, and that I will show you these ideas at a further time. There are things I'm bringing up, but I can't go to all of it this morning. So I'll say it now, I'll say it again, and then I will demonstrate and show and demonstrate. But I want you to understand this idea of this language, because those who can't read Arabic would know they're reading new moon. And you go look on the calendar, and it would say, give you the date of the new moon. But the difference between the new moon and the crescent appearing, you seeing the crescent could be a day. Or depending on the time of the new moon, it could be a day or even 2 days. But sometimes it could be a day apart. And that's one of the problems that we have within the confusion, is that some people are just looking on the calendar and seeing new moon, and after that they begin to fast. Some waiting to see the crescent, they begin to fast. So you have the difference of days, even though they're both using the same language. We go on, he says, Kul, say, Hiya mawaqitu linnasi. He says, he's translating it, say, they are times appointed for men. He puts in the translation here, in parentheses, the benefit of, which these words do not actually appear in the Arabic text. It would be appointed, mawaqitu, appointed, or even fixed times for man. That these are the times that we'll go over and read about mawaqit before I go into it. So he said mawaqitu is jam'u miqat. Jam'u miqat. وهو الوقت, and it is الوقت. So Wednesday we talked about the word الوقت, meaning it is a fixed time, a determined fixed time, and then الساعة, it is the, we could say, the instrument of time. The instrument of time. Even miqat. Miqat here is in the form of a noun of instrument. Miqat. So we can say that the crescents are used as an instrument of time. They're to help us with time, fixing times. Then he says, Walhaji, and the pilgrimage. He says, and the pilgrimage. Now, Al-Haji is, he says, Qasdi Baiti, Allahi, لزيارتي ونسكي. He's saying it is the purpose, the aim or the purpose of the house of Allah for visiting and for the ceremonial rites or the sacrifice of the ceremonies, the pilgrimage and its ceremonies. So this is the Hajj, the pilgrimage to the Kaaba, visiting the Kaaba, and the ceremonies that go on during the period of Al-Hajj. And this period is a 10-day period, which we will talk about. How Hajj and the Ramadan and the Hajj, the fasting and the Hajj, two of the holidays, two of the important or the religious holidays. We just have two major holidays, the fasting of Ramadan and the pilgrimage to visiting the house. In Christianity, I noticed they have two. They have Christmas and they have Easter. And they both coincide with each other. Christmas coincides with Ramadan, and Easter coincides with the Hajj. The Hajj. Different signs that are pointing to an underlying eminent nature that's in man. But looking at them on the surface, they look nothing alike. Yes. Okay, let's go to the tafsir before we look at it, and then I will make a short comment, inshallah. So the same verse, we read the verse again. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْهِلَّةِ قُلْ هِيَ مواقيت للناس والحج. يسألونك, they ask you, Ya Muhammad, O Muhammad. This ka he's saying, this ka is singular. And the first person that we indicate, or the first angel that we're going to indicate this being asked is Muhammad the Prophet, the President, peace be upon him. They're asking him Anil Ahillati about the crescents. And it seems as though they're still asking after over 1,000 years about the crescents. And there still seems to be confusion in the Muslim community about the crescents. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَهِلَّةِ. And he says, Jam'u Hilal, given the same as Abu Faris, the plural of Hilal. Then Lima Tabdu Daqiqatun. Why, and this the question they're asking is, why does the thin light appears, manifest, tabdu, manifest? Why does a thin, we're talking the crescent now. So this thin light, the crescent is a thin light, appears, summa, then tazidu, hatta tamtaliya. Hatta tamtaliya. Then it increases until it feels Nuran as a light. It feels as a light. Nuran. So he's talking about the crescent. We would be surprised how many people do not know how the crescent comes and goes with the moon. Especially city people. Because the big city people do not look in the sky. And this is one of the problems that we're still asking about the crescents, because we just don't have a relationship with the sky. We don't look in the sky. There's nothing up in the sky for us to look up in the sky for. And many of us live in the city. We can't see the sky for buildings and lights and things. So we have no interest. We have no interest. The sky does not become curious to us. So it goes from a thin light, a very thin light, until the moon becomes full of light. Summa ta'udu kama badat. Then it repeats as it began. It repeats all over again. وَلَا تَكُونُوا عَلَى حَالَةٍ وَاحِدَةٍ. And it does not become one state. It's not in one state or one condition. Kashamsi, like the sun. So this is the question. Why is the moon starts from a thin light, a thin line of light, eventually becomes full, and then it begins to wane until it goes to a very thin light and it goes away and we don't see it. Why is the moon like that and the sun is not? The sun is the same every day. That's the question. So it's a question to Muhammad the Prophet. It's a curiosity that the people are having with the sky, with these two main bodies of light. Qul, say, lahum, to them. Hiya mawakitu, he said, is jam'u miqat. same as Abu Faris. Jam'u Mikatin, Linasi. Linasi, for mankind, Ya'lamuna biha awqati. Awqata. Ya'lamuna biha awqat. Or awqati. Pardon me. Awqati. They know by it the time. They determine or know by it the times of zara'ihim, their crops, when to plant the seeds for the crops. What mutajirihim, and for their business or for commercial usage, especially for commercial usage. Wa adadu wa adadi nisa'ihim, and the counting or the periods of their women. The periods like the iddah, the periods of their women. Wa siyamihim, and their fasting. Wa iftarihim, and their breaking the fast. And this is in the presentations I am going to be making. Is at some point we're going to look at the methods that people are using for determining the ritual month of Ramadan, not the calendar month. Because Ramadan, as we discussed Wednesday, we can see it's a calendar month and it's a ritual month. So for the ritual month, we're going to talk about how we determine the beginning of the ritual month by the crescent. And the methods are different, therefore we may have different days. And in doing so, I may come up with a method maybe you have not heard or know about. And maybe you don't know any of them. You just know there's a difference of when people start, when they stop. And here in the United States, we may have confusion because of now we have the development of technology. That's one thing that for 1,400 years the Muslims did not have in terms of the science, the development of the science and technology. Because it has developed in the social life of man, and because transportation has developed, and we can move fast between people and people, we can cover a lot of miles in terms of transportation. And because of this, it brings about the technology and transportation brings about fast communication. You know, we can communicate with each other much faster than ever before. We can communicate the common man, the everyday common man, can communicate with each other even throughout the world very fast because of the development of technology and the use of what we have now, the computer. And now with it, we have programs within the computer like Facebook, and there are people now that's listening as I'm speaking. There are people I'm speaking to all over the country, the United States, mostly the audience, and I know I'm speaking to some people from Ghana right now. They're in Ghana. So this communication system, this communication now is not the same. It's not the same. So that brings about changes All of this has brought about changes in the social life of man. Yet, we have the ritual of Ramadan, the month of Ramadan. It doesn't change. It has to remain constant. But our perceptions now, due to the changes in our social life, it may change in terms of our method for determining the ritual month. However, I want to leave you with this note that the ritual month has to remain a ritual month. You have to listen very closely to this. The ritual month has to remain a ritual month. And in order for it to remain a ritual month, it can't be blended into the civic or commercial month of Ramadan and to the social life that we can no longer identify it as a ritual month. Even though we're performing the rituals within it, it still has the month itself. Shahru Ramadan still, I'm saying, should appear as a month. It's not like the calendar month. That's how we know it's a ritual. Just like the metaphor. In the Qur'an, you have metaphors. Now, you can translate the metaphor. I mean, you can give the meaning of the metaphor, which I do. There are times when I write morning reflections. In the morning reflection, I'm translating the metaphor. Sometimes I translate the metaphor. Sometimes I will leave the metaphor. Once I translate the metaphor and interpret it into the social life of the people and give that reading, that reflection, then what has occurred, I have lost the metaphor. If I take the word seed or corn, C-O-R-N, corn, and in the Qur'an it mentions corn, and then I take the meaning of corn and translate it into a usable idea or concept in the social life, but I don't use corn because I've translated the metaphor. Now I've lost the metaphor. Over a period of time, if you don't know that I'm speaking from the metaphor of corn, you can go back and look at corn again when the social life changes. Because it's lost. We've lost it. So I'm saying here, for rituals, we don't change rituals, because rituals that have been established by Muhammad the Prophet, the praise and peace be upon him, and by Allah through Muhammad the Prophet, to speak to man volumes of knowledge that's preserved. Rituals, metaphors, they have volumes of knowledge that can't be just spoken straight. It's too much. And too much would come to the mind. It would overload the mind in an instant of time. So these volumes, which I'm going to reiterate and repeat as we go, it's taken and put into a small container called a metaphor. So the volumes of knowledge that this idea of corn holds, we can't express. We can't express it. So we put it in this small container called corn. And that corn is holding the volumes in it. That if you throw the corn out, you've thrown out volumes of knowledge, but you've only retained just a very fraction of the volumes of knowledge that you have retained just for your usage today. This is very important for religious people and religious leaders to understand that we have to keep the rituals intact. And we know they're rituals because it looks nothing like what I would say the normal month. The day, Ramadan, the day has become the night. Breakfast is in the evening and not in the morning. The end of the day is in the evening instead of the end of the day being in the morning, so forth and so on. It's not the same. So the whole month should not be the same. That's how we know. Over a period of time, we know it's a ritual month. The month itself is not the same, which I'm going to show, inshallah, in the future. So he says, well, Hajji. Atfu ala an-nisa, meaning it's a conjunction of upon an-nisa. Nisa and Hajj. We're saying that it is times, 6 times for man, Linasi, and for man and the Hajj. That the question becomes now, why does he say and the Hajj? So let me just read this part and then we'll go to the question. I ya'lamu, that is to say, ya'lamu biha waqtahu. He knows by it its time. We know the time of Hajj. And I would have to ask, what is the crescent of the Hajj? Al-Hajj. ولو يستمرت على حالة, and if استمرت على حالة, if it remains, if it had remained like the sun, if the moon remains like the sun upon its condition, lam ya'rifu dhalik, then we would know that. We would know about the time for the seasons. We would know about the time for the crops, commercial usage. We wouldn't even know we wouldn't even know the days, how we make the calendar by the days. We know the days by the crescent. We look on the crescent and know what day it is. We know the days have changed by the crescent. When the moon becomes full, we know we're at the middle of the month. When the moon is black, we know we're at the beginning of the month. So we wouldn't know if it was like the sun. We can't look at the sun to know what day it is. We have to look at the sun to know what its position is in the sky, to know what hour it is, what time it is. We use it for time. Both of these, the sun and the moon, we're using to calculate time. Now, let's go to the question. Well, Hajj, why in the verse? Why is Hajj? Because we can understand when he's saying in response that it's for time. It's used for time, for crops, commercial use, so forth and so on. But why Hajj? Because I'm going to say that Hajj is a ritual. So the crescents are used for times for commercial usage, for civic and commercial usage, and also it's used for rituals. And again, on Ramadan, is used, the month is used for commercial usage. If we were to use the Islamic calendar, then we would have to have the month as to use for commercial usage, and we would have to have the month to use for the ritual, which, inshallah, I'm going to explain in further presentations of looking at how we would determine the calendar. Because when we have the commercial calendar, the civic calendar, we have to determine it ahead of time using a certain method. Even with today's technology. But the ritual we want to keep intact, the difference between the two. So inshallah, we will discuss that in the future. So today I just wanted to bring a couple of notes to your mind this morning as a reminder, and I thank you for listening in. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.